Atiku, Obi, two others asked Tribunal to nullify Tinubu's victory. So Atiku, Peter Obi, and two other political parties with their presidential aspirants have asked the Federal Election Tribunal to nullify Tinubu's victory. There is a global call, to nullify this election and do another election because it was fraudulent. Okay, following the same global cry over a fraudulent election that was organized by INEC under the leadership of Muhammadu Buhari and Mahmoud Yakubu rather, and it is very, very bad. It came out that both local and international observers have written it off. All other political parties have written it off because it's actually the worst election ever in the history of Nigeria. Okay, so based on these protests, different kinds of protests have erupted, and right now a tribunal has been set up to handle these grievances coming from Peter Obi and Atiku especially, who are actually the people that came behind Tinubu in the fraudulent election. Okay, so now what we're having here is a confirmation that Atiku of PDP and Peter Obi of Labour Party, among other two presidential aspirants, have taken to the tribunal, asking the tribunal to nullify the election, nullify Tinubu's winning. 4 presidential candidates on Tuesday approached the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja with separate petitions seeking the nullification of the declaration of Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress as winner of the February 25 presidential poll. The petitioners seeking nullification of Tinubu's emergence as president-elect as Atiku Abubakar of the People Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar of the People Democratic Party, Peter Obi of Labour Party, Solomon Okangwan of Action Alliance, and Allied People's Movement, Chidi Ojeyi. Atiku Abubakar of the People Democratic Party came second, while Peter Obi of the Labour Party came third. Okay, so the petition by Obi and the Labour Party marked CA/PEPC/3/2023 had INEC, Tinubu, his running mate Shetima Kashim, and the APC as respondents. In the petition, Obi further contended that Tinubu was not duly elected by majority of the lawful votes cast at the time of the election. Obi claimed there was a rigging in 11 states, adding that he would demonstrate this in the declaration of results based on the uploaded result. The petition read, the petitioners shall show that in the computation and declaration of the result of the election, based on the updated result, the votes recorded for the second respondent, Tinubu, did not comply with the legitimate process for the computation of the result and disfavored the petitioners in the following states: Rivers State, Lagos, Taraba, Benue, Adamawa, Imo, Bauchi, Borno, Kaduna, Plateau, and other states of the Federation. Obi and Labour Party said INEC violated its own regulations when it announced the result, despite the fact that at the time of the announcement, the totality of the polling unit result had yet to be fully scanned, uploaded, and transmitted electronically as required by the Electoral Act. Among other prayers, the petitioners urged the tribunal to determine that at the time of the presidential election held on February 25, 2023, the second and third respondent, Tinubu and Shetima, were not qualified to contest the election. That it be determined that all the votes recorded for the second respondent in the election are wasted votes owing to the non-qualification of the second and third respondent. That it be determined that on the basis of the remaining votes after discountenancing the votes credited to the second respondent, the first petitioner will be scored a majority of lawful votes cast at the election and had not less than 25% of the votes cast in each of at least 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and satisfy the constitutional requirement to be declared the winner of the February 25, 2023 presidential election. that it be determined that the second respondent, Tinubu, having failed to score 1/4 of the vote cast at the presidential election in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, was not entitled to be declared and returned as the winner of the presidential election held on February 25, 2023. Alternatively, the petitioners are also asking the tribunal for an order cancelling the election and compelling INEC to conduct a fresh election in which Tinubu, Shetima, and APC shall not participate. The tribunal has yet to fix a date for the hearing of the petition filed by the petitioners' lead counsel, Levi Uzoku. Atiku and PDP's petition was marked another serial number with INEC, Tinubu, and APC listed as respondent. A member of Atiku's legal team, Silas Ono, confirmed the filing of the petition to Channels TV on Tuesday. Essentially, the petition wants Tinubu's victory nullified. And when contacted for reactions on Tuesday, the Chief Press Secretary to INEC, Rotimi Oyekomi, said the commission does not comment on cases filed by political parties. Also, the chief spokesman for the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, disclosed that his principal would not oblige the LP candidate an official response since the case is in court. Kayamo said the APC PCC has no reaction to the petition now that the case is officially in court. At my level in the profession, and for those of us who know what it means to obey the rule of law, the argument now officially shifts to court. Can you imagine? You know the rule of law, idiot. Meanwhile, the Action Alliance and its presidential candidate Solomon Okangbuan and Allied People's Movement and its presidential candidate Princess Chichi Ojeyi have also lodged separate petitions before the court. Okay, in the suits that these people have, these two parties filed against the APC, are respectively challenging the outcome of the presidential election on the grounds of alleged substantial non-compliance with electoral laws as well as the guidelines of the INEC. The Action Alliance claimed that its candidate was excluded based on which the election should be voided. On its part, the APM claimed that Tinubu was, at the time of the election, not qualified to contest the election by virtue of the provisions of Section 131C and 142 of the Constitution and Section 35 of the Electoral Act of 2022. Wow. So about 4 case files are now with the tribunal against Tinubu, challenging his eligibility for the election and also challenging his winning the outcome of the election. So all of this, and I know that there's going to be several branches to these cases, and I'm sure if the judiciary does not compromise, the outcome, of course, will favor one out of these 4. All right, so this is exactly what we have here. Okay, it is quite unfortunate that INEC brought Nigeria into this mess because INEC is being influenced by the APC government and by Tinubu as the paymaster. So let's hear just 1 or 2 comments. Somebody say, God will do the best. One thing I know is that Yoruba is one of the major tribes that rule anywhere without religious or tribal sentiment. Others always tilt to favor their own people. What are you trying to say here? Somebody say, if you claim Yoruba is the only tribe that rule without tribal sentiment, that means you are referring to the North, because Southeast has never ruled this nation. So be specific. Yes, it should be specific. So all these guys calling for nullification of Tinubu's victory are just wasting their time. Don't worry, now time will tell whether they're wasting their time or not. Somebody said they should call Babangida to annul election and install Dangote as the interim president. Not really. Why Babangida? Does that mean we Nigerians are not tired of old hands and dubious characters? Okay. Someone said they can nullify the election themselves. Players who want to play the role of referee will be an article are desperately out to steal. Otherwise, if you want to work for people and the time has not come, can't you wait for God's time? Who told you this is God's time for Tinubu? So this guy is an APC person. Who told you this is God's time for Tinubu? Okay, this is a stolen mandate that must be challenged and must be returned. That is the truth. It has to be validated. The case will make Nigeria know if we still have judges in Nigeria shaking her, and that is true. Then all the judges in Nigeria will now be put to test, litmus test. Let's see the integrity. Let's see how independent they are in the Nigerian constitution, Nigerian system, and then we will know whether we have a Nigeria or a country called Nigeria or not. So that is the case here. 4 case files against Tinubu's emergence as president-elect, against INEC, and against APC. So thank you for listening, and let's have your own view as well for sharing.